wanted to get back on here again. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube talking about the Word of God. As some of you know, I've already done a little bit of Proverbs, and Proverbs is my favorite book in the Bible because to me it's like Cliff's Notes for wisdom. And if there's anything that we need in the world today, we always need it, but it's wisdom. We have so much information everywhere, but it's like, who's giving us wisdom? And I love that the Word of God, it's like Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So no matter what, it applies to the past, it applies to the current, the present moment, and it will apply to the future. I've already done, I did the first chapter of Proverbs last year at some point. Sorry, I have something in my eye. It's kind of driving me crazy. But I wanted to get on here and continue. And so I'm going to read the chapter, and then I'm going to kind of talk about my own experience. And I would love to engage you guys in a conversation about it. Don't mind my little bunny pen. It's pretty silly. Oh, and I also wore this silly little Peanuts shirt. I know I say a lot, so bear with me. And I wanted to turn the light on so that you can see. Of course, it'll be distracting during my Proverbs reading, so I'll turn it off. But just wanted to spread a little holiday cheer. I would definitely have background music because I just feel like it makes the ambience really pleasant. But I know that there's something about musical rights that I don't really want to play with. So anyway, that being said, disclaimer, I'm not claiming to be like a pastor or a teacher or whatever. I don't even care about titles. The way I see it is it's an honor and a privilege to be able to read the Word and be able to have people watch this and, get some nuggets of wisdom from it, some encouragement, also to engage conversation. I would love to hear any positive feedback or nothing negative. I'll just ignore anything that's like rude or abusive in any way because it's just ridiculous and silly, in my opinion. And I'm just on here to encourage and, like I said, engage people in a relevant conversation and how Proverbs applies to your life. I may go on and do other books of the Bible. I would love to do that. But Proverbs, like I said, is my favorite because it's just like quick wisdom. And who doesn't need that? So, let's see. That being said, bear with me. I am not a YouTube expert. So I'm just kind of like going to roll with this. I'm also not great at editing. It's something I'm trying to learn. So bear with me in my imperfections as I read and discuss. So, if you like my channel, please like and subscribe. I'm also planning on possibly interviewing other people on my channel and having like relevant, real conversations with people with different walks of life to kind of spread more of God's word and application to our lives. So that being said, I'm going to start reading Proverbs 2. And I'm going to once again kind of share how I perceive it, how I feel like it applies to life, and would love to hear how it applies to your life and how you see it. Like if there's something that you feel that I'm not interpreting the way that you would interpret it, please feel free to share. Like I would love to have a discussion and continue to build a community of people who just want to talk about it. It doesn't have to be scary or daunting. As far as my understanding, the Bible is a really loving book. It doesn't have to be a religious and harsh book. There's no condemnation in Jesus Christ. So that's something that we all need to know. Okay, so I'm going to read it, and then I'll probably pause and then just talk about it. Okay, so Proverbs 2, the benefits of wisdom. My child, listen to what I say and treasure my commands. Tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate on understanding. So to me, it's like a loving father is having a conversation with their child, and he's saying, treasure my commands. Like, listen, these commands it's not like God is coming from a heart of do what I say, like in a dictator kind of way. We have free will, and he's basically saying, treasure his commands, like understand that they are a gift. And he's basically like, hey, like here's the inside scoop on life, and this is how things kind of go down in this world, and this is how the best way to handle these things. So tune your ears to wisdom, concentrate on understanding. That's the thing, is understanding is very key, because sorry if I itch my eye a little bit. It's just I still have something in there and I don't know what's going on. Bear with me. So understanding is key, because you can listen to something all day long, but if you don't choose to understand it, like it's like processing something and really breaking it down and understanding it. It gets deeper into your heart and soul and your mind. If you choose to understand it. Or you can be kind of like, oh yeah, I heard it, but it doesn't make any sense to me, or it's just whatever, all religions are the same, or whatever. You could see it as kind of a surfacey thing. Or you can choose to understand, which is super important with most things in life. Okay, so the next verse is cry out for insight and ask for understanding. That's profound too. So cry out for insight. So it's like to me, cry out for insight is like a sincere effort to connect with God. So it's not just some apathetic prayer that I say that's just kind of like whatever, and then quickly kind of dismissive, like, oh, God's not really hearing me, I believe, and I do believe that the Bible talks about this, is that if we are sincerely searching for God, we will find him. And I know the Bible says that. I just can't remember what verse. And then ask for understanding. So we can ask God for whatever we need, and he's happy to give it to us, if he sees it fit. Like if he knows what's best for us. So we can ask him for understanding. So I'm going to continue. Search for them as you would for silver. Seek them like hidden treasures. So he's trying to say, like, keep searching for wisdom. Like they're highly valuable, or it is highly valuable. That's why he compares it to silver or hidden treasures. Then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord. This is a big one. There are so many people who say like, oh, like fear the Lord, like people who kind of make fun of believers that say, fear the Lord, like what is God, like some scary dictator? Why do I have to fear him? Well, it's understanding what this means. Once again, understanding. The fear of the Lord to me is just like then the understanding that he's a loving father and he really knows what's best for me. And then also that, he is what we reap. Sorry, what we sow is what we will reap. So God's paying attention. He's not just like kicking back, like, drinking his favorite beverage or whatever, and just like doing his thing. Like he's really paying attention. He's like going, there's like a verse, and please remind me which one it is, where it says God's eyes kind of like search to and fro over the earth, looking for somebody that he can trust. So, and then also, I believe it's the first commandment? I can't remember. Remind me what it is. But it says, to fear the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. Perhaps that's in Proverbs. Anyway, so understanding what it means to fear the Lord, and you will gain knowledge of God. To me, that is like such an honor, because it's the creator of the universe. Like, who gets to hang out with the creator of the universe? Like, he's the king of all kings. I wouldn't even put him on par personally with kings of the earth, because he's like way above that. Regular kings are just people that he created, and then they have a status, a crown, and a title. But they're just people. So anyway, I digress on that, but it is such an honor to be able to cultivate a relationship with the creator of the universe. I like, that is like a whole other YouTube video on why I believe that. Okay, let's see. For the Lord grants wisdom. So I'll read that again. Then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord, and you will gain knowledge of God. For the Lord grants wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. So we're really understanding that, understanding is very important, and that we can be in relationship with God. It's such an honor, so special. And that he wants us to be in relationship with him. And he wants to help us out like a loving father. He wants us to just come up to him like, Dad, like, I need help with this. And he's more than willing to help. So, and he's helped me so many times. I mean, there are so many testimonies that I can do, and probably will try to do at some point. I would love to hear your testimonies too. All right. Let's see. So now I'm on number 7. He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. That is awesome. Common sense is something we are so missing today. I hear people kind of use, the whole like criticism of common sense in a kind of a condescending way sometimes, but common sense is such a good thing. It's just basic wisdom. Okay, you don't go up and sucker punch somebody on the face. They're not gonna like it. It's just not good. It's not good for world peace. It's just it's crazy. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, common sense is super important, and Proverbs is full of that. So anyway, he grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. So people who are like pure-hearted and honest, he treasures that. It's like a landing strip for his blessings, because he can trust you if you're honest. You don't have to be perfect to be in a relationship with God. You just have to be honest. Which is so liberating, because even if you're mad or something, you don't have to be afraid to tell him that. If you are, then it's like you're not allowing him in the rooms of your internal apartment. And then how can he like renovate those rooms? So it's important to be honest, whether you like it or not, like whether you feel ashamed of it or not. You can even say, God, I feel ashamed. I'm struggling with shame. And he'll help. He always helps me. It's amazing how much he's helped me. And I've seen so many lives changed in relationship with him. Okay, so he is a shield to those who walk with integrity. Once again, it's like he will protect you. He's a shield if you walk in integrity. It's like integrity. It's like doing the right thing when nobody else is watching. So you're keeping your heart pure and honest before God. That's what matters the most. He guards the paths of the just and protects those who are faithful to him. So once again, he's just kind of establishing like, hey, just walk in integrity, be pure-hearted and honest, and I've got your back. Okay, so then you will understand what is right, just, and fair, and you will find the right way to go. So this is a great understanding on sharpening your discernment and understanding why it's so important. Like if you put that into practice, into motion, and even if we mess up, which we will, you just say, God, please forgive me. Thank you for showing me that. Help me to, be more just in this situation. Help me to be more fair, or help me to do what's right. And he will help. I mean, that's what his grace is for. That's why he died for us, right? I mean, it's just one of the great reasons. But yeah, so let's see. Then you will understand what is right, just, and fair, and you will find the right way to go. So if you keep doing that, it's like you get on this path of, it's like a discipline. And then you're able to eliminate all the make or at least most of the rubbish that can kind of hold you back or put you in bondage or kind of make your heart toxic. Okay, so on to 2:10. By the way, at this point, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of that. And I'm going to continue on, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts after that. So I try to go like in little sections so we can kind of marinate and discuss and break down and really understand it. Okay, so for wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. So if we walk in integrity and are honest with him, and get the common sense from him, wisdom will enter our heart. So then you'll already have this discipline. Like you'll have like sewn into your heart, all these things that he teaches us along the way. And it just becomes automatic where, you're in maybe a quick situation where you have to have quick wisdom, which I find myself in a lot of, because I work with the public, and everybody has different personalities. People come with different issues, and sometimes I have to think fast. And so I pray a lot throughout the day, every day, and ask for wisdom in certain situations, because life can be tough and it can be scary sometimes. So it's so important to have a plethora of wisdom. It's like wealth, like stored inside of your heart, that you can go, okay, that's what I'm going to pull into this situation. And it's helped me so much. All right. And knowledge will fill you with joy. Yes, it's definitely a joyful thing to avoid a lot of these gnarly pitfalls and temptations and things that come our way in life. So I don't know, knowledge will fill you with joy. Yes, I don't know if I have the full understanding of that. So if you guys have any understanding on that I don't have, please feel free to share. I mean, it's a great thing to have wisdom. And especially in those hard situations. But yeah, fill you with joy. I'd like to understand that on a deeper level. Okay. Wise choices will watch over you. Wise choices will watch over you. I don't fully understand that either, but it sounds good. I just would like to understand it better. Understanding will keep you safe. That to me makes sense. As I was talking about understanding, how important it is to understand, not just hear or read, but to really fully understand it. Okay, so wisdom will save you from evil people, from those whose words are twisted. This has helped me a lot. I used to think that I had to let everybody into my inner circle, because I thought that was being like Jesus. Especially the people who were toxic, had like red flags all over them. I was like, oh, well, somebody's gotta help them. They're to me, it's like they're like a wolf that's caught up on a fence, and everybody's just like, I'm not touching that wolf. And I used to be like, well, somebody has to let the wolf down. And then I would end up getting really hurt. And then I would go through like trauma, like from the experience and have to heal from that. And then at one point, I got like bitter. I would like let my heart get kind of toxic. Um, because sometimes when we're wounded by something like that, it's really hard to um, know what to do with it. So anyway, now that I have learned, like, be kind to people, be kind to everybody. But you do not have to let um, people who are dangerous or evil or twisted close to your heart, close to your reality or your inner circle. There's like circles of intimacy. And my friend and I used to talk about this, and we would talk about, we made up the term circle jumpers because there are some people who try to get close too fast. That's kind of a red flag. If somebody tries to get too close too fast without actually getting to know you, like they'll maybe flatter you or try to act like you're soulmates or something. This is like actually what a lot of narcissists do or like abusers do. And so it's like there's these circles of intimacy and you have to build trust. I know I'm digressing, but I might as well just cover this while I'm here. And it's like you choose who you want to get into your inner circle of trust. Like it's like your very inner circle is just God, right? Like your relationship with God, He's first. And then, you can have your close circle of friends, people who have earned your trust. You've seen their character over time. They haven't like forced themselves on you in any way. Your intuition, it feels safe around them. You feel like safe, uplifted, supported, encouraged, and loved. And then there's the other like outer circle that's like, more acquaintances or people that you might allow closer to you at some point, but you're kind of just, they're still in the kind of like interview stage or whatever, for lack of a better term. And then there's maybe people that you work with that are kind of on the outer, and then so on. But then the outer are people who you don't know, and then there's people who you recognize are toxic and evil in some way or twisted, and you're just kind of like, okay, you're not getting too close to me, but I will be kind to you. I wish you the best, but I don't need to like allow you too close to me. I don't need to trust you with everything. Okay, yeah. So tell me what you think about that. I feel like we really need to get smarter about that stuff, a lot wiser about that stuff, because there are so many people who do, who trust toxic people because they don't want to feel judgmental or whatever. But it's about discernment. You don't have to be judgmental. You don't have to put them down or anything like that, but you can discern. You don't even have to say anything bad about them. You can just discern and be like, okay, like, Lord, I don't feel safe with this person. Give me wisdom for how to proceed with that person. But of course, once again, always be kind, but you're allowed to have boundaries and limits. Okay, so wisdom, excuse me. Wisdom will save you from evil people, from those whose words are twisted. These men turn from the right way and walk down dark paths. It's their free will. They can do that. They want to do that. But, you reap what you sow. And God is giving a clear warning about this stuff. And it's like, I know we all see it from time to time. It's like eventually this stuff catches up with people. Do you want to go down with them, or do you want to just be kind to them? But, just like we're responsible for ourselves individually, and they are as well. And if I go down that road with them, that's like kind of codependent, especially if it's going against my conscience. And we're also not really helping people if we choose to indulge in twisted stuff with them. So it's better to lead by example. Okay. They take pleasure in doing wrong, and they enjoy the twisted ways of evil. I've known plenty of people like that. Unfortunately, it's just people who, they're like, their consciences are seared. I used to know a girl that enjoyed seducing other women's boyfriends. And she, she obviously, she's super wounded. She was abused growing up. Um, but I just remember feeling really sad about that. Like, I cannot believe she thinks that this is like, it's like she enjoyed the conquest. So sad. So sad. But there are a lot of people like that. I mean, there are people who enjoy stealing from people. There are people who enjoy sin. Okay. So their actions are crooked and their ways are wrong. Wisdom will save you from the immoral woman. So, discussing that kind of thing, that the girl I used to know, from the seductive words of a promiscuous woman. She has abandoned her husband and ignores the covenant she made before God. Entering her house leads to death. It is the road to the grave. The man who visits her is doomed. He will never reach the paths of life. Okay, so this is like, it's such a good thing to talk about, because sin, at first, I know a lot of people don't like the word sin, but like, I don't really care because I know what it means. It's like anything that is hurting others or hurting ourselves, anything that's just not rooted in love, but it's rooted in selfishness. Sometimes it seems fun or it seems socially acceptable, but at some point it catches up. So I would not gamble with this stuff. Trust me, I've sinned plenty in my life, but not like in that way. But I'm just saying, it's just not worth it. I've had to unravel so many years of what I've done that wasn't right, and it's painful. So anyway, that being said, I'll move on. Okay, so follow the steps of the good and stay on the paths of righteousness. For only the godly will live in the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be removed from the land, and the treacherous will be uprooted. Okay, so this is one that I feel like a lot of believers struggle with, especially. Is that, it's like we see people sometimes that are really wicked get away with murder, for example, or just other things. But at some point, like, we don't always see what ends up catching up to people. Like, somebody could be just having a heyday, robbing people, raping people, or whatever it is, and getting away with it. But eventually, you don't know what's around the corner for them. And certainly I would not want to be in their shoes for that. So we just have to trust. And I do believe, like, I have noticed justice being served for people like that, but it doesn't always happen right away. So I wouldn't think that, oh, you're going to be able to get away with it because so-and-so does. Well, you don't know if that person's going to end up in prison at some point. Look at Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure they were having a heyday doing what they were doing for a long time, thinking that they were going to get away with it, and then it becomes addictive. It's almost like probably this exciting rush that they're getting away with something, trying to compensate for whatever insecurities or wounds they have, and they keep doing it, and then they are in bondage, and then they're in this compulsive habit. So once again, I'm digressing, but it's good to understand how all of this plays out in life. So many people think that the Bible is just ancient, and not relevant, but it's so relevant. It's wild. Okay, so I'm moving on to chapter Proverbs 3, and it's really pretty long. It's like, let's see, 35 verses. So I'm just going to read up to, I think I told you guys, up to verse 12. And then I'll continue on the next YouTube video with the rest of that. Okay, so trusting in the Lord. My child, never forget the things that I have taught you. Store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you will live many years and your life will be satisfying. So once again, store it in your heart. It's like we have to meditate on what he teaches us, so that we can grab that quickly. It's like becoming a spiritual ninja. Because, life can kind of be going along quietly and everything's going smoothly. And then it's like, I'm sure you guys can all relate. It's like one day, all of a sudden, it's like a bad day. Like everything's going wrong. Things are hitting you from all sides. And it's like, what? What is going on? Like I've had days like that recently where I was like, somebody wanted to have a kind of a tough talk with me. And then I was having another kind of somebody else that was kind of like, seemed like there was some tension between us. And I was like, what is going on? And then that morning I had locked my keys in the car, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like it's 10 a.m. I've already had 3 things happen to me. What is going on? And I like ended up kind of bursting into tears, but I was praying, and I ended up at a friend's house who was gave me this big, like super sweet hug when I was crying. And it was almost like this awesome moment that I was like forced to open up to this friend, and we now have like a deeper friendship. And I was able to see her character and how she was there for me in that moment. And I felt like, wow, like I feel like I found like a really awesome friend. So anyway, I can't remember exactly how I got on that, so forgive me, but let's see, where are we? Oh, right. So I was able to, I just started praying, and to me that's wisdom. So I was praying, in that weird morning where things were just kind of going wrong and coming at me. And, anyway, it feels like being kind of a spiritual ninja when you know all these things, because you're able to just pull from, your source of gold. So, never let loyalty and kindness leave you. That's so good. Kindness, so loyalty, I don't know if it's saying right here like to be loyal to God or like a loyal friend. I think that those are both profoundly important. Kindness, and never let kindness leave you. Kindness is incredible. I have learned so much about the power of kindness. Not only are you contributing love to the world when you're kind, you're contributing mercy, grace, inspiration, hope. You never know what somebody's going through. And kindness can sometimes just like turn somebody's day completely around, because it gives them hope, like, oh wow, I'm worthy of kindness, I'm worthy of love, or oh, I get a second chance, and I've noticed also that kindness feeds my own soul. Like if I'm kind to somebody, I actually feel more joy. Excuse me. If I'm not so nice to somebody, I actually end up feeling really bad about myself later. Like I start to just get kind of like, oh man, like that wasn't right. And I know that there's some, when you sow with kindness and then you sow with not kindness, I believe there's a spiritual element at play. Like, angels might be are more attracted to kindness, and then the demonic is more attracted to meanness. So it's also, I feel like it's just bad for your body, for everything. All right, so never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. So those are just like, just kind of explaining like how close loyalty and kindness should be to you. Just like absolutely like first place, like, well, God's first, but you know what I mean? All right. Then you will find favor with both God and people. So, I mean, my goodness, why wouldn't you want favor with God and people? I mean, that's kind of covers everything, right? And you will earn a good reputation. So that's just kind of like a byproduct, right? I mean, who doesn't want that? Who really honestly wants a bad reputation? Yeah, if they want a bad reputation, that's definitely not wisdom. Okay. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. All of your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. That one I have a hard time with sometimes because, and I'm sure we all do, because sometimes we can get in our own thinking and then we start to trust our own way. So, although I believe fully in being confident and, you know, like educating ourselves and all that stuff, we should ultimately be trusting in God's ways over our own. I've gotten in trouble a lot of times because I've like thought I could rely on my own understanding. Okay. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. So I always try to, like when I pray, my prayers are very like simple, and I like it that way. I feel like it's pretty honest. But yeah, so whenever I pray, I try to, just say, these are what the things that I want, but Lord, like I want your will for my life because he knows better than me. Like when he gives me things, I'm just like, wow, how did he know that I needed that? Because I didn't even know, but I did. Um, so let's see. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Very simple, right? It's just fear the Lord, like trust the Lord that he knows the best, and then just turn away from evil. Like your discernment will get sharper and sharper. The more you walk with God, the more you read the word and understand it. And then you get quick at being like, I smell evil. I'm out. I'm gonna go over this way. Then you will have healing for your body and strength for your bones. That's an amazing claim. That's very cool. And I fully believe that. It's like, when you don't let toxicity too close to you, I really believe that we keep everything much cleaner and healthier. Okay. Tell me your thoughts on that. I'd love to hear it. Okay. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything you produce. Then he will fill your barns with grain, and your vats will overflow with good wine. Okay, so I have a little testimony on that one. I like to kind of see what happens with that kind of thing. So a few years ago, I was going to two different churches. I was going to my Sunday church, and then I was going to a different church on Wednesday for like a women's group. And on one Sunday, I had like, I'm a hairstylist, and I had made some extra money that week, and I was feeling like, yeah, cool, like I can be generous. And I was like in the habit of tithing, and not out of compulsion, but just like, man, I want to give, and I also want to see if God really does return it. And so one Sunday, I digitally gave $100 to the offering at church because I had a little extra, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do that, and which to me is a lot. And then the next Wednesday at this other church, which there's no way they could have known that I gave $100. It was digital, it was anonymous, and a totally different church. And the next Wednesday, this woman came up to me in my women's group, and she slipped me $100 bill. And she said, listen, she's like, just take this. God told me to give it to you, and I have to be obedient. And she gave it to me, and I was like, wow, like this is wild. And it was just one of the many ways that God like returned the money to me, which he always does. Like whenever I'm generous, it's like it always comes back to me, and I can just tell that it's from him. But anyway, I wanted to share that because it's just, yeah, pretty awesome. Like I have so many testimonies of how he showed up for me, and I'm like, I know it's God. So many testimonies, and I'll share more and more of those. Okay, my child, don't reject the Lord's discipline, and don't be upset when he corrects you. That took me a long time, and I'm still working on that. Because I used to be like, okay, what's an attack? Like, a spiritual attack, because we all know that happens. Especially like the closer I walk with God, it seems like it's like clockwork, like some kind of weird attacks, like spiritual attacks. And I'm really learning to discern, oh, this is an attack, or like, oh, oops, like God's trying to correct me here. Which, we always have to humble ourselves and just be like, okay, like, help me to change that. And it's hard. It can be so painful sometimes when, certain things come up in our character and we're like, oh my gosh, that was there. Uh, and like old habits die hard. So anyway, but I've learned to try to just be like thank you, like I'm not liking this, because I'm very honest with God, and I know he loves that. He knows me, and you can't lie to God anyway, so you better just be honest. So anyway, like there will be times that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am hating this, but I'm like, but thank you, because I know I need to be more sanctified, to be corrected, and he does it, and then he blesses. Like it's amazing. Like I've gotten so many breakthroughs that have been really hard and painful, and once I'm like through that, or once I've let go or repented of that, which repented means to turn away from. So it's like I want to bring all these like kind of old words that people use, cliche words like sin or repentance or whatever, and help people to understand it now. Like repentance is just, it's like changing your mind. You're like, okay, I can't think that way anymore. It's not working. And then you're like, okay, Lord, like please, I know it's a habit, and our brains are sometimes like wired. Well, I believe that they're wired to, whatever habits we have. So you have to kind of I always ask God, like, God, give me the grace and the will and the desire to stop doing that. And then, you just kind of you catch it like, oh, oops, nope, I can't, I'm not doing, I rebuke that. Like, I refuse to think that way anymore. And then, you rewire your brain. The Bible renews our mind. So that's just one way of, it like lines our entire being up with heaven. So anyway, almost done here. Okay, so for the Lord corrects, I'm going to read that one more time so we can really get it. My child, don't reject the Lord's discipline, and don't be upset when he corrects you. For the Lord corrects those he loves, just as a father corrects a child in whom he delights. So, when God corrects us, it's an honor. It's an honor. And it's a reminder that we are a legitimate child of God, and that he legit loves us. And he's just like, it's kind of like, if you're renovating a place, you kind of have to like bust up the old icky stuff and then carry it out and then clean it out, and then you can build up something better. So that's the way I see God's discipline or correction, and the way he loves us. And then like I said, I'm always glad that I allowed him to correct me, because if I didn't get course corrected, I wouldn't be able to get all the amazing things. I don't even like to say things, because this blessing is not always material things, but like character and other things that he does to restore our soul and heart and mind and everything, our entire being. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap that up. I feel like I went over a lot, and I'm so excited to continue this, and I would so love it if you would engage in the comments, and please like and subscribe, and let me know what topics you'd like me to discuss. I would so love to really build a great community on here. And I'd love to be able to encourage you and lift you up in prayer. So let me know if you have any prayer requests. Let's encourage each other in the Lord. So, excuse me. So I will leave you with, let's see, I have these super cute little cards that I got the other night. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with this cute little Proverbs. Yeah. Okay, so it says, "Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you." That's Proverbs 4:6. So I'm just gonna put that right there, and you can put these cute little verses around your house. You can make like, if you're crafty or creative, you can just like make some kind of pretty picture and put them around, because the more you read this stuff, like I said, the more of a kind of spiritual ninja you will be. But first and foremost, your true and intimate relationship with God is what matters the most. So, anyway, that being said, God bless you. I hope to hear from you, and I will try to do more videos soon. All right, take care. Thanks for your time.